Hello everybody. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Craig Blechta, a member of the Convair Retirement Committee. Several months ago when we discovered that the Convair was going to be placed into retirement, a group of people got together to plan a party. The party was held December 1st of 1988 at the Holiday Inn International in Bloomington, Minnesota. The number of people we expected to attend the party was originally set at between 600 to 700 people. The actual number attending the party was a little over 1,800. With that type of enthusiasm displayed, we thought it would be a good idea to put together a videotape to help record this special event. So with that in mind, sit back, relax, and enjoy a trip with me through a chapter in aviation history.
The World of Aviation, presented by North Central Airlines. Produced and narrated by Sherm Bowen.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome again to The World of Aviation. World of Aviation was on the air 28 years, and North Central Airlines sponsored it 27 of those 28. And when I did World of Aviation on television, I used to refer to North Central Airlines as my favorite airline. It was then, and it is now. I have a lot of history of North Central Airlines. When they first started to fly into Minnesota in 1949, I did a wire tape recording with Hal Carr flying in a 10A. And if you know the 10A, it was a very noisy airplane. And Art Hinkey, who was flying, would have to throttle back and glide while we did our interview in the cabin so that you could hear our words. North Central Airlines has been an important airline to me. I've watched it ever since it began, virtually. I was here and I did film and stories of the first DC-3s that came aboard. I was here when the 340s and the 240s came aboard. And I certainly remember that famous old 580. I went out to California, as a matter of fact, to film the actual changeover from the recip engine to the Allison turbine engine. And then a little later in this tape, you're going to see some film of the media rollout of the 580. The first time it was shown publicly to the public here in the Twin City area. And so you will see many of the employees of North Central Airlines, the directors, and Hal Carr as the famous 580 was rolled out of the hangar on the west side of the International Airport. And so I think it's nice that we should have this record of that famous Convair 580.
Memories pressed between the pages of my mind. Memories sweeten through the ages just like wine. Quiet thoughts come floating down and settle softly to the ground like gold of autumn leaves around my feet. I touch them and they burst apart with sweet memories. Photograph covered now with lines and creases, tickets torn in half, memories in bits and pieces, traces of love long ago that didn't work out right. Traces of love. Memories sweeten through the ages just like wine. I close my eyes and say a prayer that in her heart she'll find a trace of love still there somewhere. Pressed between the pages of my mind, a photograph. Memories swing through the ages just like wine.
Let me take you through the sunshine to a new place maybe you've never been before.
Let North Central take you through the sunshine to the sunshine. Jet North Central direct to Sarasota, Bradenton, Florida. That's right, Sarasota, Bradenton. North Central offers single plane service to Sarasota. Leave here at 6:30 a.m. and touch down in sunny Florida around lunchtime without changing planes. That's North Central's new one-stop jet to Sarasota, Bradenton. A great way to avoid the cold this winter. Just call your travel agent.
Good people make our airline great. Fly North Central Airlines.
This is a sight you will see no more. A Northwest prop jet landing in La Crosse. Northwest is retiring their fleet of prop planes, replacing them with all-jet service. It's important because no other major airline still flies prop planes, so today marks the end of an era.
Do I get $1 million in?
Well, it wouldn't make any difference as long as it gets up and stays up. But I think the jet that we've modernized it, I think that's much better.
Oh, it was a good one. I like the Lockheed Electric better.
This old airplane was built in 1954. It will be replaced by the much more modern and efficient DC-9. One of the nice things about this airplane is the old comfortable seating, the wide seats, first-class seating with lots of legroom. A couple of the things that you won't be getting on the DC-9s. But the Convair has its limitations. It's slow, seats only 48 people, no trays for in-flight meals, and they call the toilets airborne outhouses.
Yeah, I think the jet age has taken its place. We've heard comments from people that they're not really excited anymore to be flying prop airplanes.
So it's the end of an era, and these birds will be flying south for their retirement, relaxing in the sun and flying tourists to Mexico. In La Crosse, Steve Bothan, Action 8 News.
Northwest has sold its 13 Convair aircraft to a San Diego commuter operator. All Convair service has been removed from the December flight schedule. Rob Marr has a report.
On one of the final Convair flights between Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Eau Claire, Wisconsin, 20-year veteran Vicki Begling made her first Convair trip in 12 years.
Well, it was interesting. It's like I remembered it. Kind of bumpy, kind of bouncy and bumpy, but people are really friendly and, you know, grateful for all service on here. They don't expect much, and they're just happy to see us smile.
Because of a major winter storm, the trip was a little bumpy, bringing to mind which is easier to fly, Convair or the replacement DC-9s.
Actually, the DC-9 handles a lot better. This is pretty heavy on the controls. It's like a Mack truck without power steering. People look at this airplane and they think how it'd be like a little sports car to fly around, but actually it's very heavy on the controls. It's a lot more demanding. Your instrument scan has to be a little bit quicker because the airplane wants to move around on you. With a 9, it'll kind of just sit there for you.
And the fact that they're prop-driven planes is not the only history or nostalgia. This is also going to be gone because as they begin using jet airplanes, then they will use the jet walkways. So this is a bit of history that will no longer be seen. There were some attendants who purposely bid Convair flights.
We've always had kind of a limited number of people working on the Convair, and we all got to know each other really well. So it's fun going to work and knowing that you'd be running into maybe like Virgil down at gate 79 or any number of people. And also going into the small stations, you got to know all the agents there, and we worked really well together.
In fact, Pat and Joan Swisher organized a very well-attended goodbye party on December 1st in Minneapolis for the Convair, another part of history for the world airline industry and Northwest. Rob Marr, Northwest News Magazine, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Just an excellent, excellent airplane.
I feel very sad about the airplane. I've had a lot of pleasant memories with the airplane, and I hate to see it go.
Northwest Flight 1441 shutting down its engines for the last time, and this is the end of an era. This flight from Wisconsin marks the last time a propeller-driven aircraft will be used by a major airline in this country, and this last flight didn't go unnoticed.
Thank you very much. How nice.
From the flight attendant giving flowers to her last passengers to the people at Gate 79 waiting for their last look at a glimpse of history, this was a night of nostalgia, a night to say goodbye to the Convair 580. They flourished in the 60s, used by most major airlines. Northwest inherited its fleet of 580s when it merged with North Central, and now it's over. But the memories of this old workhorse plane will live for a long time, especially for those who worked on the plane.
This is the Convair galley back here. This is our coffee maker, and as you can see, it's very small. Flight attendant jump seat is right here, and this airplane does have a bathroom.
It was different. Curtains, not plastic blinds on the windows, and wide, comfortable seats that reclined so you really could sleep. Flight attendants loved them because they worked alone and they got to know the 48 passengers on each flight on a personal basis.
You got to take them on their honeymoons and you brought them back, and you got to relate restaurants in certain cities that you'd been to, and it was personal to me. It was just really nice.
And pilots loved to fly them because they had so much power.
The airplane's special to me because it's a good, reliable airplane with a lot of power, and is always doing what you want it to do when you want it to do it.
Pilot Randy Sohn was the man who first persuaded North Central to buy the planes back in the 60s, and he stopped by for a last look around the cockpit.
This is an old friend. I can close my eyes and still put my hand just exactly where everything was, and the gear and the throttles, and know exactly by instinct where everything was. So it's an old friend, and you you always tend to think that your friends are going to be around forever, and this thing would soldier on in perpetuity, and I guess it's not going to.
Please don't grieve watching me leave. That would be much too painful to stand. It's been fun, now I must run, but it's been grand, perfectly grand.
A 30-year chapter in commercial aviation ended today in the Twin Cities. Northwest Airlines is retiring its fleet of 13 propeller-driven aircraft, the last major carrier to do so. The final flight touched down tonight at Minneapolis International Airport. Mike Strand tells us more about the last day on the last leg of the last flight.
It's a hands-on airplane. We're flying it. We don't have any computers to play with and to guide us along. So, yeah, it's back to the early days of aviation.
The final Convair 580 slipped into central Wisconsin today, as it has for the past 20 years. Mechanics lovingly call the 48-seater a gravel truck for all the dust it kicks up. It's also what you'd call a flying dinosaur. Prop planes have been virtually extinct from the fleets of major airlines for 2 decades. Today, Northwest Flight 1441 joined its predecessors.
The aircraft started with North Central approximately 29 years ago, so it's a lot of memories for a lot of people, and it's an end of an era.
Northwest says the problem is not the cost of repairs or operation. Rather, with so few Convairs in operation today, it is becoming more and more difficult to schedule both pilots and maintenance for them.
Reaction to that decision depends on whether you fly it or ride it. A flight attendant told us those who liked the 580 loved it. Those who didn't hated it. Constructed in the mid-50s, passengers say the charm of its large seats and linen curtains is overshadowed by noise and lack of creature comforts, like continuous heat or air conditioning. Still, there are regrets.
It has been our pleasure to have worked with so many fine people. We will now begin our boarding process.
5 p.m. 22 passengers and a crew of 3 prepare for the last commercial voyage, a 200-mile jaunt to Minneapolis, a flight into the history books. I'm Mike Strand, WCCO Television News near Wausau, Wisconsin.
The Northwest crew members plan to send the old prop airplanes off to retirement in style with a party this weekend.
You invited?
No, I wasn't.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Convair 580 retirement party. I'm Mike Furley, and I drew the short straw, so I'm your MC for tonight. I did tell the committee, however, that if I was going to do this job, I couldn't be too serious, otherwise I get a little bit too nervous. So with that in mind, obviously, I'm the senior check airman for the Convair 580. But just so that you all know where my roots really lie. Okay, now, no laughing. This is a very serious, solemn occasion. I'd like to call for a moment of silence, please. We gon' celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? It's a celebration. Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. Baby, we're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. It's a celebration. I checked with the feds here today, and this is completely legal. No problem here. We're doing it from the paper. All the responses are there. You ready, Captain? Weights and base speeds on display. E-I-E-I-O, E-I-E-I-O. Focus airspeed selectors are 40, 45, flaps 15, the sync center, the outer feather arm, and 2 green. Both the generators and inverters are cut. I've got both the boost pumps on. E-I-E-I-O. Torpedo heat, I'll check it on. The trim tabs are 1, 2, 3 set, anti-skid. I'll put it on. It's so stupid. E-I-E-I-O. The instrument panels agree. 290 and slave.
Slave 290, slave.
Pressure control is EPC. APU is off. RPM and bleeds.
High and cold.
Alternator check. Transponder on. My controls are free on top.
3 on the bottom too.
Annunciator panel, it is checked. Now we're on a roll. Before takeoff, checklist complete. E-I-E-I-O. Ding the stew, gus lock off, lights are on, power set to 932.
2 or 3 remarks. First, I think the people who put this together deserve a tremendous amount of thanks from all of us for getting everyone here together. Randy talked about the Convair 580, which obviously is the one that's being retired. I'd like to just make sort of 3 comments about the Convair 340 and the 440 before the 580. In I believe it was 1959, we went out to Denver to talk to Bob Six, who was the president of Continental at that time, and we bought the first Convairs for $325,000 apiece. It doesn't sound like a lot of money to you, but it was a tremendous amount of money to us at that time. We came back with signed contracts, and that's when the Convair era really began. One other remark I'd like to make about Convairs is when we were taking delivery of airplanes, I was talking to Red Wallace tonight, we picked up airplanes in all kinds of places all over the world. And at one time we had Red Wallace and Pete Wall down in Chile picking up 3 airplanes one at a time. And they got stuck there for a couple of days and we weren't sure where they were or what happened to all our money. But about 3 days later they came back. We heard from them. They came back and delivered these airplanes one at a time. And they, Red and Pete, I think, delivered virtually every airplane we bought.
And we've been used to seeing these little DC-3s, and everybody said, how are we ever going to fill up that big airplane? and I made that great comment, we'll never need an airplane any bigger than a Convair. That's certainly all we'll ever need. It was a great airplane, as you know. We eventually had 35. Randy was sort of filming that, but I remember we had 35 Convairs, bought them from all over the world, and it was the airplane that I think that really got North Central Airlines into the black, because we struggled so much with our DC-3s to try to...
My name is Janet Heber.
I'm Daryl Treps.
Okay, and you're ticket agents.
That's right.
What is it going to feel like to welcome the last Convair passengers to Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport?
Well, mostly we're afraid we're going to have to go work the big airplanes now.
What has it been like working the Convairs?
It's been nice. The people are nice, the crews are nice. It's kind of like a small family.
Kind of like a small station. You get to know your crews. Day after day you work with the same people, and you get to know the customers because they keep taking the same flights also.
Small airline within a large airline almost.
Tell me your name.
David Budge.
And how long have you been working the Convairs?
I've been working Convairs for
Jerry Bodall. Okay. You've both been working on the Convairs for... Vern, how long have you been on the Convairs?
About 30 years.
Good training.
Well, ever since we had them. Ever since we got 580.
Did you have them when... were you working on them when they were 340s and 440s?
Well, I was working on DC-3s when they bought the 440s. And the conversion was in 67?
Yeah, 67 is when they had the... What'd you like best about working on the Convairs?
Oh boy. Well, it's a good, dependable airplane, lots of power, and matter of fact, there's a powerful even plowed up a cornfield with this. Good too.
I guess I like probably working the engines and the props, and I think that was the.
How long did it take, Vern, to change an engine?
Well, some engine changes could be done in as little as 4 hours. But usually about 8 hours.
About 8 hours. How long about for changing the prop?
Oh, we done some prop changes in 45 minutes.
45
to an hour, yeah.
Either one of you know what the record was for the coldest temperature for changing an engine? I know there's a few engine changes like up in Minot, North Dakota or something like that.
Oh boy, I was up north one time all night long, and it was about just about 30 below and blowing about 30 miles an hour. Had a trip like that in Green Bay once too. Colder in the summer we got.
Training on the 580 is all done in the airplane, which is very different from flying a simulator. I think most of the people over the years have really enjoyed flying the airplane in the training situation. It's real time, it's live. When you do a circling approach at night in the weather, it's at night in the weather. You know, you don't have a problem freeze. You can't stop and discuss the situation. It's real time. It's very interesting, and I think the pilots over the years have really enjoyed flying the Convair.
I have mixed feelings about seeing the airplane retire. It was awfully cold in the winter and hot in the summer, as everybody always says, but it was sure an enjoyable airplane to fly, and it was the last bastion of an era that in airline flying that we probably just won't see anymore. Low and slow, and flying into the smaller airports in this country, and it was just a lot of fun. And more importantly than that, the association with all the crew members on the Convair, and the fact that we were a small, closely knit crew, just the two pilots and the flight attendant, made it just a wonderful, wonderful experience.
You aren't by chance the last Convair tonight, are you?
That's affirmative, we are, sir.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Softly, I will leave you softly, for my heart would break if you should wake and see me go. So I leave you softly, long before you miss me, long before your arms can beg me stay for one more hour or one more day. After all the years, I can't bear the tears